Good morning, YouTube family. I just want to give y'all just another word and encouragement today, and it's about us ladies that how to raise our standards as a woman. Majority of us was not raised um and taught by our parents to how to present ourselves as young girls, as young ladies. So as we got older, we had to teach ourselves a lot. But I just want to say I was blessed that my mother and my grandmother also had put in me how to present myself as a young lady, the do's and the don'ts. So this little line, um, one of my brothers wanted me to make this for young ladies, to how to present ourselves on panels, off panels, and in real life. So today is good morning, she. Thank you for coming. Today is for my sisters is how to present yourself and the standards we have as women. First of all, you have to start with hygiene. Make sure you take care of yourself. Bathe, shower, do your hair, wear presentable clothes because sometimes people do judge you by your appearance. And wear appropriate clothes because some like to wear revealing clothes, and even though you marry or engage and that's not your lifestyle, the clothes you wear will attract certain type of men, will think you easy or a call girl or a loose. So that's one of the tips I could bring to the table concerning my sisters, the younger ones and the older ones. Just be careful what you wear. And then also how we present ourselves talking to people. As a woman, a lot of cursing. Good morning, sis Trish. Thank you for coming in. And if y'all want to come on the panel, you can. The chat is in the link. If you have any input, also how you present yourself talking to people. I was always raised not swearing a lot. That's lady. That's not ladylike cursing all the time. Cursing like a seller. You know, just try to present yourself in a respectful way because the way you present yourself, the way you carry yourself, and the way you treat yourself, that's how people are going to treat you. They said, okay, let me do it again. Yeah, so you really, really have to be careful how you present yourself these days and times because we have a lot of people out here that really take advantage take advantage of people. Okay, hold on. That is going that not wearing appropriate
I
clothes.
can't
Good
hear you
morning,
though.
sis. You could have
Something wrong with it.
kept your picture on, yes,
I can't hear you
and
saying
that's what it's
anything.
all about. Us older
Let me
women's
start over
teaching.
again.
Okay, you fine?
I don't hear you. It's like static. Let me
Okay,
see. Let me
can
start
you
all over.
can you, can you hear me now? Okay, she probably got to leave and come back. And yes, they do stereotype you, um, the clothes you wear, and also just the way you carry yourself, the way you keep your house, and also when you be around different people, how you present yourself. And really, these are the basics because as a little girl, your mother dressed you in your little dress, your little ruffled socks. She teach you how to be dainty and stuff like that. And you know, some we have some we be tomboys playing with boys and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to say to our sisters today is to raise your standards. And it's not talking about men, it's talking about within yourself. You know yourself better than anybody. And half the time we we are our worst enemy. So my tip today for my sisters is the way you present yourself, the way you carry yourself, that's the way people are gonna treat you. So if you want somebody, mhm, um, I had to add to the screen. Okay. Good morning, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm blessed. I can't complain. Thanking God for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to, give tips on, you know, us females raising our standards.
Yeah.
And I know, go ahead.
Well, I want to just say I was on the guy. I think his name was Cool Gen 87, and
Mhm.
yesterday he was talking about this same thing, and I wanted to go back to what I said over there that as young girls they grew up being princesses, you
Mhm.
know, and wanted to have like the little doll sets, to where they can play with the dolls, play house. you know Growing up, these young girls are not doing that, so they don't have that sense of wanting that relationship as a family. When they have the dolls and things, they comb their hair, they're more or less accessorizing the dolls and everything like the girls did when they were younger, but
Yes.
they're more or less not even looking at the whole sense of family, the family structure where the man doll, the boy doll, I mean the boy doll, and the girl doll having a family playing. Most of these girls are just looking at with all the things that they can get for this doll to look good. Doing the doll's hair, and they even had little dolls to where you had little babies where you can push them around and stuff.
Wow.
Girls had the dolls, the little baby dolls and stuff. I'm seeing most of the girls nowadays, they just want the dolls to look good, the hair to look good, and going back to like with the kings and queens, like I was telling my a lot of guys are always calling the women queens. In order
Yes.
to be a queen, you have to have a king.
Right.
You know,
Um,
that
mm,
that makes the kingdom. The king and the queen make the kingdom and everything. Not saying that a woman is not whole as not being married, but at the same time, queens and kings go together. I heard a guy reference like the chessboard. In a
mm,
sense, that chessboard, that king only can move one space. That
mm,
queen can move all over the board. And the thing about it is, if you really look at the game, the queen, she's there to protect that king. In
Yes.
most cases. And
mm,
that's the thing. You have someone good on your side, a good woman. That's it's just a game of chess. Everybody around you can help, but that queen plays a major key part in there, just like in marriage. You have that king can move around and do everything to protect that queen. You
mm,
know, but the game, it was designed like that for a reason to get people to understand. You know, that relationship right there. And I always see that kind of interesting every time I think about it.
mm.
That's beautiful. I like how you I like how you said it. Trish, good morning, sis. This is Brother She. Do you have anything to say this morning?
Um, I think a queen is a queen anyways, regardless, without a man. She's whole without a man. She don't need a man to make her a queen. She's a queen anyways. That's what I think. That's my perspective on it. I think a woman is a queen without a man. She don't need a man to make her whole. She's just a queen anyways. You know, I think so.
I
Yeah.
mean,
She you
yeah,
have anything to say?
well, it's not taking nothing away from the queen. I
Hmm.
mean, a woman, that's what I'm saying. As far as a king and a queen together, they're a pair, you
I
know?
agree with that part. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like I said, there's nothing taken away from that woman that is not married, because ultimately, you know, there's a lot of women that are not married or not in
Right.
relationship, and that
Mm-hmm.
and then to an extent, they're great women. It's just that, you know, like I tell a lot of guys, we always complain about there's no good women out there. But the point of it is, we're not telling these guys to be stand-up guys, because this whole culture that I hear online about all these men talking about this pump and dump and all these other kind of terms. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what you're doing is taking a great woman that wants a family and just demeaning her by just doing things with her and just throwing her away like trash. I'm like, after so long, what good woman is gonna stand as being a good woman for the rest of her life when all she has is man upon man upon man that's only there to just treat her wrong?
I
You know,
agree. I totally
that's
agree. That's a good point. That I totally agree with that. You're right. You're right
yeah,
on that part.
and that's the same instance for a guy. You know, a lot of women say that there's not a good lot of good guys. You know, I heard a song one time. I think it was like Carrie Hilson or something, was saying like a bad man can turn a good girl bad, and that's the same reference. You know, when it deals with the men and the women, you will
Mm-hmm.
have people out here just playing games with their emotions only for their self gain, and it's
Yes.
only so much a
Yes.
person can take to where they break down. You know, it's hard doing like labor work to where you have to get knocked down and get back up each time. In them football games where a guy gets hit real hard,
Mm-hmm.
it gets to a point where it's a struggle to get back up. You know, and that's
Yeah.
in life. You know, you have situations come at you all the time. It just to be a struggle, because the same thing applied with my grandmother. You know, my grandmother dealt with things with my granddad for a while, and I never understood it till I got older to where she divorced him in her later years. And I just couldn't understand it for the likes of me. And I'm like, you've been together so long, you did so many things, and there was the things me as a child couldn't see until I became an adult. And I seen
Right.
how things were, and I thought about all the stuff that went on in the past. You know, same thing
Okay.
I had with my uncle. He was the same way.
Mm-hmm.
He woman after woman, and I would always tell him, I'm like, you done got married 3, 4 times throughout your life. I'm like,
Excuse me.
dude,
Good morning, Miss K. Thank you for stopping by. God bless you too.
Wow. It's
She's
crazy.
very okay. Go ahead.
yeah, and it got to a point where I was just asking him, and more or less I started seeing the women that he dealt with,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him, I was like, it's not you, it's the woman you're dealing with, because all the
Absolutely.
women, they all had that same look, that same type of mentality,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the end, he just became single because more or less, he more or less tried to force a family versus trying to find a better woman. He just kept trying to force a family. And like I was telling this one girl, she was dealing with this guy. If a
Mm-hmm.
man is not ready to establish a family, you can't force him. Same thing with women. If
That's
women want
right.
to be free and live life, you can't force anybody to do
Right.
anything they don't want to do.
You know, the point in my life right now, I'm ready for me a good man. I'm not ready for no kid, nobody playing games. I'm ready for me a good man. You know, life is too short to be playing these little 3-year-old games. And, you know, half of these men are out there like that, and half of the women are too. You know, it's time. It's
Yeah.
a time and place to settle down and get with somebody gonna love you for who you are. Get with somebody that's ready to get married, not somebody just want to play house. I don't want to play
Yeah.
house. Those days are over for me.
That's like one of my friends. I was talking to him. He got married, I believe, at a young age, about in his late 20s. No, I'm sorry, it's like his 30s. He got
Hmm.
married in his 30s. But his thing was he didn't plan on getting married till he was 40. And I'm like, why? And the whole thing that he said that, well, you know, I'm just gonna mess around and this and that. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna waste your time, you know, and that's foolish for like women to say that, because if you don't want the kids, I understand that because your biological clock is ticking, you know. And for like these young women that always come with those notions of, you know, I'm just gonna party or have fun, you know, time waits for no one.
That's
Absolutely, I
right.
agree.
And you know what? We have to understand too. Um, God designed for a man and woman be together. And that's why I was saying that us women had to really raise our standards and really face reality that our man is our leader. And when we saying we waiting for our king, we had to prepare. Back in the old days, they prepare years. It was their arranged marriage, and they were like going to charm school. They were teaching them how to, take care of their husband, how they would soak their body in different fragrance and stuff like that, so they could smell good around their husband and stuff. Because they were, back then there was a virgin, so when they was married, that was their first encounter with each other. Because a lot of people don't know when you marry, that's a secret holy place that God,
Absolutely,
I mean,
sis.
these are two, you are one. And see, a lot of people take that for granted. When you marry, it's not about you no more, it's about us, you know? And a lot of people don't understand that, because love is not selfish, it's not boastful,
Absolutely.
it's not self seeking. Because when you saying, I love somebody, that gappy love, I love you regardless. It's not when
Hmm.
times get hard or bad situation that I'm gonna leave you. No. And I'm just saying, you know what? God had a man and a woman for each and every person who want to be married.
Girl, yes, he does.
And you pray for that man of God. Because the first thing you want a man of God, because and a woman of God, because once they love God, they're gonna love you.
Yes, you better say it, sis.
And they're
Yes.
gonna, because a man is our protector and our provider. And
Hmm.
us women had to be in our place, because we meet and we humble. That don't mean we weak. That means we love our man and we want him to be the king he is.
Yeah,
We
God
want him
said,
to be. We want to be that pillow. So when he hustle and tussle all day long, that how you doing, my family? Good morning. Then we're gonna be there by his side to cheer him on. You know,
right. Yeah, you're right.
as a black man, they fight all day long, and when they come home, they want to come home to a peaceful home, a nice, clean home, a nice dinner, a nice wife to understand. Baby, I know what you're going through, and be
Yeah.
his cheerleader. You
Be his
know,
pillow, like you said, be his pillow.
yes, yes,
Be his
and his
comfort,
friend,
you know.
yes,
Yeah, I agree, sis. Good point. Be his comfort, you know. It's hard to find. Well, you know what? I don't go look for men. I let men find me. I let my king find me. And God's going to send me him. I was married for 15 years, but my husband died of ALS. It's called Lou Gehrig's disease. He'd been dead 4 years, and we were still been together, but he died, and he was such a great guy. And I always say to myself, I'm never going to find a man like that. But I have to stop saying that, because the things you say usually happen. God's going to find me someone not like him, but similar to his ways, And so, yeah, I would have been married still. I miss him so much, especially around the holidays.
yes, and that's why I said around the holidays is really, down and depressing for some people because their loved one's not here. And
Yeah.
like Miss K said, yeah, being their backbone. Because let me tell you something, our men are so strong, and if they a man don't cry, they have feelings too, you
Oh,
know.
yeah. Yeah.
And we have to
Yeah.
we have to be that backbone for them.
Yeah.
We have to be their eyes and their ears, because they
Hmm.
have enemies too.
Of
We
course.
have to be their protector
Hmm.
too, to a certain extent. And no, we're not designed to be strong like a man, but in some ways mentally we are strong,
Absolutely.
for them, because that's why God put us together. We
Yep.
soulmates.
Hmm.
So I can
Right.
feel what you're going through. I know what you're going through.
Yes, sis.
And
I'm
God
going
will
through a
give you the
lot.
insight. Yes.
I am missing
Mhm.
somebody that you, especially being somewhere where you don't have family right now. It's hard. But I'm just holding on in there. Christmas time is really hard for me. Valentine's Day is really hard for me. His birthday is really hard for me. It's just days like this. I just want to be to myself. But I'm holding together. I pray every day and just ask God to send me someone similar to him. I know he's not going to send me somebody like him, probably
Mhm.
similar. But I pray for a good husband one day. but I'm patient. I'm not gonna just get out there and just say, "Oh yeah, I want him. I want." You know how women so thirsty, just get anybody come their way. No, ma'am, I don't do all that.
Yeah.
Just wait. Wait on the Lord.
Yes. Because the
He
Bible
got our
said when a
back.
man find a wife, he find a good thing. He finding us. The meanwhile, he find us. Prepare yourself. Get yourself ready for your king. You know?
Yes. hmm What
Because
do you
I
think
mean,
about? What
go
do you
ahead.
think? Go ahead. I was going to say, what do you think about it? You in the middle.
Well, it's very important. I'm sorry, hold on. My headset just messed up.
Mhm.
And if anybody want to get on the panel, you have an input, you can.
Okay, there it goes. Yeah, it's very important for a woman to have a man that seeks them out. Because ultimately, well, both of you guys, if a man seeks a woman whom he love or he has some kind of traits what he like about that woman, that's where the first
Mhm.
fire is kindled right there. You know, and this strong desire upon when y'all start getting together and being with each other, and that starts that flame to grow even more. Because I even hear how you talk about your husband, and how you
Mhm.
talk about just the feel of him, and around the holidays how the emotion that you have towards him. He was a good man to you,
Oh my
and in a
goodness.
sense, you know just like you said, you might find a guy close to him, but you probably found your one and only match made. Like they say, the match made in heaven, because
Yes,
it's hard to find that special one all over again. That's like reincarnated.
I know. Gosh, I hate that part, but I know you're right.
Yeah, because
Ah,
ultimately, I BGS, he even explained it where he talked about how in life you probably get one chance
mhm.
at that one special person. You know, there's people that can come along and fill voids and
Mhm.
do right, but it's hard. That's why I always talk to my wife and I tell her,
Mhm.
in one instance with me getting married to her, that's why I said it was just one and done for me, because
Right.
dealing with relationships and dealing with just people emotions, and sometimes you'll never know what's going on in their life, and sometimes people just live double lives, because ultimately I always tell my wife, I say, most men just cheat for a reason, to an extent, and if a woman doesn't do certain things around the house, and then that's what permits them to cheat. But then on one hand, most of the men are just dogs. It just, if you married
Oh
a
yeah.
dog, that's all he is.
Absolutely.
He can shadow his behaviors, but if he's just a dog, he's just a dog.
Oh,
Like I tell him, the same thing
totally
apply
agree.
to the women. If you have a sense where a guy marries a woman and she looks so pretty and so nice, and the moment after all she's living a double life, have a friend on the side or something like that. So you have to be mindful of who you marry, kind of court them a little and get them to the extent to where can open up. Because when people are more comfortable around you and they start opening up, that's
Mhm.
when you start feeling the true self. Because it's only so long a person can hide their true nature of who they are, you know.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree. It's
Right.
so
You're
true.
right.
Yeah, people can
Yeah,
put on a big old show until you really, really see their true color. You gotta be
yeah,
careful. People say
yeah,
a lot of men say a lot of things to you when they just getting to know you. And once that flame is gone and that fire is lit out, then they really show who they are. So I do agree with you on that.
yeah. Because I
Yeah.
always say what what's his name, Kevin Samuels, with his show. I tell him all the time. I said a lot of women go on there for the cheat code, because he always give them the answer within the middle of the show. He tells them to find a person, deal with them for a minute. Ultimately, if you're young, you deal with this person through college and just through your life span, and establish a relationship and be with this person. But a lot of the women on his panel, like I tell them, all they want is the cheat code because ultimately they want a man that they can get into a relationship with to take care of them and bring forth like, well, I want him to be the man of the house and I want him to be a certain way. And they want to stay at home and don't want to work. And I expressed that. I said, well, if a woman doesn't want to work and she always talking about her money and this and that, so why would you bring your money to the table as it being a big thing and you don't want to work? You know? And I tell that to a lot of the people on the show. I mean to the people, I say it's just the cheat code. His show is basically trying to push you forward in life to say, well, this is what you want as this man, this and this need to happen. It should be organically. You should be able to find a wife organically to the point where all the qualifications that you want in that man, he comes natural. My wife didn't go to a dating coach, and back in the day, nobody went to dating coaches and went to
Hmm.
other these people to try to
Right.
find a husband. You know,
Right.
they're cheating. In my opinion, that's what they're doing. They're cheating. I mean, because ultimately, if you really want a good person in your life, you do what it takes to have a good person in your life. Not
That's
Amen. You
right.
better say it.
Yeah, it's not like trying to
Yes.
find the best results. It's like you're trying to get the perfect person all the time. It's like hitting the lottery in every state. It,
Right.
I'm
Hmm.
gonna ask y'all both a question. I'm gonna start with Trish. What advice will you give a woman 40 and up who been married and divorced, had a child or didn't have a child, or 50 and older and been divorced, and they want to go back into the dating game? This your question I have for you, Trish.
I
What
say take.
advice will you give
I say
that
take
woman?
your time. Don't rush. Take your time. Don't rush. I mean, what is for you is for you. What God has for you is for you. Don't rush it, because that's what people do. They get out of a relationship, being divorced or whatever. Just take your time. Don't rush back into nothing. There's a lot of people in their 40s and 50s been hurt, and they want to feel that. I guess that coldness in their heart, so they get back into it again. I say don't rush. Take your time and wait on God to send you somebody that's gonna love you unconditionally. That's what I think. You know.
And she, what advice will you give to the females and males?
I'll say that same thing. As far as the women, I would tell them the same thing. Do not rush. But the
Right.
thing you have to be mindful, if you want to get married to somebody, you have to go and be in places where, you know, people tend to meet and,
Right.
to the point where if you want to get married to a person with, kind of a good heart, a good nature, you're not finding them at a bar. You're not finding them in a club because
Oh.
ultimately the things that go on in those places, you got to understand when you accept the person the way you meet them, you got to accept them cold-heartedly for everything that they do because that's how you met them. Like most people, they meet people that are married and they wait on them to get a divorce and they leave their spouse, and then go to you. Then ultimately, if they cheat on you, it's going to be upon that same reflection because that's how you met them.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
So
Amen. Yes. Good
it
one.
comes to the point where if you're meeting people, let's say like you meet someone at the grocery store. You don't know the characteristic of that person until you actually start developing a relationship. Same thing where
Hmm.
you meet a person at church, you don't know the characteristics of that person until you actually start developing a relationship. Ultimately, like I said from the jump, a lot of people can shadow things, and it's kind of it's kind of blinding to people to where they don't see the real person because the aspect of having that special someone and being in love, it kind of shadows their judgment. They kind of push things in the back of their head that isn't true, or I mean that is true, and they see the signs, but they just so to the point of needing someone to where they neglect their thoughts and their feelings. So you always have to take a step back and evaluate yourself, and sometimes seek counsel from wise people, because ultimately, if you seek counsel from a foolish person that may a friend, they're just going
Hmm.
to tell you what the result of what you're looking for is to
Right.
find a person to be in relationship with.
And some
So
people are very blinded. in situations, especially women. They so blind when it comes to man. A man showed them something good one day, they in love. You can't be blind in situations like that. You gotta really look and listen. Check that person out because people are not going to show who they are the first time, and sometimes they do. It just depends. But you can't be blind when it comes to love. When it comes to trying to find someone for you, because that's what mostly women, they are so blind. Oh, he treated me nice. He bought me dinner. He bought me this, but a couple of days later, he's treating you like a dog. He's showing his true color. So be careful, women.
Yeah. Good
Be
morning,
careful.
Brass man. Thank you for coming in and joining us. Also, I have another question to ask y'all. She and Trisha, um, will y'all date a male or a female? Trish, will you date a male who say he's separated from his wife, but
No, ma'am.
still they're married but separated? Um, what advice will you give someone in a situation like that? A older woman or younger female? What advice will you give them?
Just because they separated, they still married. That's not, you're not married. You're not separated. You still married. You're not divorced. So separation still mean you're married. And I have a lot of guys came up to me like that. I'm separated, but I'm getting divorced soon. Or I'm separated. I just need a friend. No, no, ma'am. You go work it out with your woman. I don't date married men. And the advice I give to a younger woman or a woman in their 40s or 50, don't fall for that. If they're separated, they're still married. There you go. There you
She,
have it.
what advice will you give to a young male? And being he said, I'm so in love with this girl, and I brought her in my house. We living together. She told me she's gonna divorce her husband when she get this money. I took her in. What advice will you give that young male or older male?
First of all, I mean, even upon establishing a relationship, and you find out that person is still engaged in a marriage, you shouldn't take it no step further. You know,
There you go.
that's already a red flag. For a
Yes.
person that's still married, I mean they still have some type of feelings towards that person.
Yep.
And even if they say that they're married and they want to get a divorce, but the money's just so expensive or something like that, you go with down there to them, and if they're really serious, take them down there to fill out the paperwork. That's how you know how serious somebody is. You know,
Right.
because ultimately, like I say, a lot of people will shadow this whole notion of, I don't have the money or it takes this and that. I've seen people in relationships go relationship after relationship and never get a divorce. And ultimately, they go back to their significant other because they see that there's nothing out there for them. Even the person that they left, sorry about a truck, but the person that they
Have a
even
blessed
left,
day. I'm sorry.
he,
And go ahead,
yeah,
Brown. Thank you for coming in. Go ahead, she.
yeah, but even with the person that they left, they just generally left them because of a feeling or a situation that they had that they didn't like. Ultimately, a lot of those people, they divorce and break up with each other on just small technicalities.
Mm-hmm.
They're mad at the time. It's more of an emotional thing to where they're mad at the time. They want to express their emotions in certain ways by just leaving them and then come
Yep.
back to them later on. You just
Mm-hmm.
it's like kids, they're playing games with each other because their feelings are hurt, you know.
Okay.
I also.
Good
Okay,
morning.
it's
I
true.
have another question to ask y'all too. Good morning, Brown Bird, for coming in. But Trish, do you want to say something? Go ahead.
I also think the reason why people get separated from each other because they think the grass is greener on the other side. They think maybe the woman they got or the man they got, they see something better, so they think this better, so they end up separating for what they got already to something else because they think it's going to be better than what they have. But they finally see that it's not, then they try to go back to where they at. That's why. And there's a lot of women and men, they want their cake and eat it too. So they want something saying they're separated, but they still want somebody too on the side. So, you know, You know how it is, sis.
I I seen that same scenario play out. One of my friends, he had 3 kids with his girl,
Hmm.
and he actually was hanging around a whole bunch of single guys. And at one
Wow.
point, he told his girl, he was like, "I want to go hang out with them all the time. I want to go have fun." And she's like, "You understand? You have a family here, and you established a relationship with me." And he was still just had a young mentality because as he started having his kids, he more or less started being home, starting to be a family man.
Hmm.
And that's why a lot of people, it takes a toll. You have to be a person that's really embedded in yourself to actually know that if I'm married, I don't take on traits as single men. Like most of my friends were single for a while and I hung around them, and that put them in the mindset of getting married compared to me putting myself in the mindset of them as wanting to be single and messing around on my wife, dealing with other girls. It's just that you have to be real strong within yourself. And this
Yes.
guy ultimately left his girl to go
Mm-mm-mm.
deal with these other people. And then he seen the grass wasn't greener. By the time he came back, she didn't want to deal with him no more because just
There you
like she
go.
told him, she was like, if you really love me and your family, you would have sacrificed from being around those guys or just not wanting to be like those guys.
Absolutely.
And she ended up finding somebody else. And this guy, and it was crazy. This guy had 3 kids from her, ended up dealing with a girl that had 3 kids, and he had 3 kids from her. So ultimately, he ended up having to take care of 9 kids total.
Wow.
Wow.
Mm-mm. Well,
Yep.
you know what?
Wow.
Sometimes people think the grass is greener and then they find out that it's not. That's why I say to love the one you with. Love the one you with. I mean, you can make great memories with the one you with because I was planning on being with my husband forever. I mean, until God sent one of us home, and that's what happened. And I wasn't trying to divorce. I wasn't into all that. I always been the marriage material type of woman when I was younger. So I thank God for the time that I had with him. So yeah, I truly understand that.
The reason why I was asking our question because I know times is different now. We Generation X, and now this generation is not into marriage. They figure that marriage is more beneficial for the woman. Percentage of men don't have no kids. They prefer just have living a bachelor life, doing what they're doing with no strings attached, financial. And if they do live together, it'd be 50-50. So the question I would ask she and Trisha, if you are feel chemistry with someone and y'all financial situation and both of y'all established, what would the conversation will y'all bring to the table? And I will start with you, Trish.
You talking about we both single though, right?
Yes, you both single. Um,
Marriage, marriage, marriage.
y'all
I
both
can't bring
financial
nothing to the table.
stable, okay,
I
and
can't bring
everything.
nothing to the table if we're not married. I'm not gonna be putting my ends with your ends when we're not married. I can't do that. I don't want to play house. So got to be about marriage. We got to talk about marriage before we talk about anything. So that's me. I'm sorry, sis. That's me.
Okay, no, no, that's fine.
Okay, you can
She,
go ahead on.
anything else you want to say,
No,
Trisha? Okay,
no.
she, since you the male, what will your conversation be?
Well, that was the same thing with me and my wife. We actually lived together for
Hmm.
probably about, I want to say, close to a year or so before we
That's not bad.
ended up getting married. Probably
Hmm.
less than that. But the whole thing of it, I wasn't trying to move in. She had her own place. I wasn't really trying to move in, but the more or less I was over there more, and I would go back to my house, and I would always be over there. Some days I wouldn't even just go home. I stay over there, get up and go to work from over there. And then we actually started establishing, like I would pay for groceries and stuff around there, and then I'd be over there. And she would never ask me for no money. And in a sense, my cousin and her were friends to the she didn't want to think I was using her. I mean, using her just for money. But like I expressed to her, I was like, we established a relationship, and ultimately, with us taking it even further, we have to communicate with each other upon, getting married. Because that's the whole thing about marriage is communication.
Right.
And if
That's
we
true.
can't communicate on a playing field to the point where, if you need something and I need something, we can't come to each other from a small standpoint. How can we actually, be there for each other when we get married, really?
Right. That's true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good point.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
And
Good.
just one more question I will ask too. Um, I know majority of us we are Christians, and we was married. Some majority of us divorced. Have kids, and we settled it and we saving ourselves until we get married. Um, if you encounter someone who disagree with that, um, and also a Christian, um, what would the conversation be like? I'm gonna start with she with this one.
Okay.
You said, what would the conversation be like if I was to
What
encounter?
conversation will you start like being like y'all been seeing each other, the chemistry there, but y'all decide to save yourself. She decided to save herself until she get married. Celibate. She already was married before, or wasn't married before, had kids, but now she in church. She's just trying to live the right life, and she just want to keep herself until she get married. But some people pressure you on saying why, we're gonna get married anyway. Why wait till we get married? What would you say to the individual who you plan on spending the rest of your life with and would like to wait?
Well, in most cases, like the old saying goes, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. But in this case, if it's worth it, you can wait. I mean, ultimately, dealing with emotions and issues, if you've been married before, you pretty much know who you're dealing with, you know who you're working with. You're
Right.
not dealing with someone that's, a teenager, a little younger. You're dealing with a grown woman. And in turn of dealing with that grown woman, you know not to play games with a grown woman because she doesn't have time. Same thing with the men. Men might don't have time to be, dealing with an older woman that's just trying to seek some type of, revenge or something that she can get out of a relationship. You don't have time for that. And, the thing is, I always tell a lot of people use sex as the deal breaker or the one of all in a relationship.
Yeah.
If sex is the biggest thing that you have to encounter within the marriage, if you're waiting to say, oh, the sex is good, the sex is bad, okay. When you get if you get in marriage and your thing is sex, then it looks like you're going to have to get a divorce if that's the biggest thing in a marriage that you're dealing with. Because ultimately, if you committed to someone and you spent all this time dealing with them financially, dealing with them mentally, and because sex was the deal breaker, then that's just what it is. But ultimately, if you're dealing with someone with the intent of loving them forever and having a relationship with them, you ultimately come in there with your heart first, kind of, instead of more or less just the sexual pleasure.
Yeah.
Because if sexual pleasure is your thing, then you find that person that you have that sexual pleasure with, that want to have sex early, that I guess they call it tasting the fruit before you buy it.
Right.
Because there's women that do that. But if
Hmm.
this woman doesn't do it, then who are you to try to force them into a matter which they need to?
Yeah.
Beautiful said. Trish, do you have anything you could add on?
I have met people when I tell them that I'm celibate and that I'm trying to wait until I get married. Some people don't want to deal with that. They don't. Mm-mm. They were like, well, why you waiting? What you waiting on? It's just me. And there's a lot of people don't want to deal with that. They don't want to wait. They want to test it out now. You know what I'm talking about. They want to test it out now. They want to see, why can't we? Why we gotta wait? Why we got? I have dealt with people when I say, well, I'm celibate. They say, why are you waiting? What you waiting on? Because I just want to wait. And everybody is not gonna be in that type of category you are and waiting on stuff like that. They want to make sure that the sex is good. They want to make sure everything is good before they say I do. And I think in a relationship, when you're trying to establish a relationship, sex shouldn't be the first thing. Like this guy said, I forgot your name again. Just like he said,
Keith.
it should be about the heart, trying to get to know each other first, other than jumping in the bed. Get to know that person, communication, you know, other things, and then all that other stuff will come out. But people these days, these years now, they're not interested in waiting on you. If you're not talking about giving it to them now, they going to the next person. So I have a lot of people done that to me. They were, I can't wait. I said, oh, you am hot in the pants. Go ahead to the next person. I understand. I'm not hating on you. Go to the next person. That's how it is.
And,
Sometimes people don't always want to wait on you, so they don't want to
and
wait for that.
and that's crazy too, because like I said, a lot of things are over sexualized to the point where, you know, a lot of men get into a relationship with women on the technicality of how their body looks, but they never judge the soul or the mind.
Yes.
They go for the women with the, the 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 the, the body, the butt, the breast, the thighs, the overall shape, And the thing about it, over time, just being real, your body diminishes. You get a little bigger, you get a little
Amen.
smaller, the weight fluctuates, and to the point where that beauty is gone. And if you married that woman just for that body, then the body is no more. Then what are you doing? You ready for divorce? Because ultimately, if you're marrying a person, you got to marry a person wholeheartedly and take on everything that that person is bringing to the table, not just the
Absolutely.
body.
Right.
Because you can marry one of the most prettiest, banging body, workout, fitness trainers there is, but if they have no brain or have no heart, then how are you going to establish anything with them? A person that's cold-hearted, they
Hmm.
don't think about other people's feelings. They only think
Right.
about themselves. You know,
Absolutely.
a person that doesn't use their intellect.
This thing keeps going out. I'm sorry, my speaker went out again. Yeah, but
You
can you
bored
hear
you.
me?
It's I can't hear him.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, a person that along the line that deals with a person on the intellectual level, you can have conversations for days. And as you get older, you a person that's dealing with wanting to have sex all the time. That shows your mentality as a kid. You know, I mean, the sex is not saying that sex isn't everything, but the point of it is, as you get older and live your life, you want your whole marriage or your whole future to be predicated on having sex or versus having an experience where you live for a long life with someone. I've known older people that probably stopped having sex in their 40s, because of medical complications, and they had to endure living with that person not having sex, having those urges, and just having to move on, just get it out of their mind, or do something else to pass the time versus going out there cheating. There are women and men who like have medical issues. You're willing to leave your wife because you can't have sex. You've been married to a woman for 30, 40 years, and because she can't have sex no more because of a medical issue, you're leaving her. So is that her fault? Did she go to the did she have some situation where she went to the doctor and said, give me a medical issue to where I can't have sex? No. So that's just being cold hearted of that nature, of just cutting a person off just because of that. I mean, pretty much you've already established in a relationship of this is how it should be. If I can't
That's
have sex with you, I don't want to be with you. So let it be known. So that person can move on and you can move on.
yeah. There's a lot of men selfish. They don't want to. They if you went to the doctor and say I can't have sex anymore, they move on. They get selfish because in the Bible it says to death do us part. So you got supposed to be staying with that person till then. But some people move on because of problems like that. They can't have sex or this happened or that happened. They move on. to somebody else that can, So it's bad, but I don't know.
And I just
This
want
is
to
a hard
thank y'all
Christmas for
for,
me. I'm dealing with it though. It's a really hard Christmas for me, sis, this year.
I
Ooh.
just want to thank y'all for being honest with y'all questions and everything. And I just have one more. I just want to throw in the pot, and then y'all can have y'all last words.
Mhm.
What advice will you give to someone who really want to be with somebody, but really don't want to take the time out and deal with the issues and the baggage they have in their life? I'll start with she.
You say I didn't hear the beginning. I
The
heard about dealing with the
individual,
issues.
yeah, you have an individual who really have baggage and hurt and pain, and they deal with one relationship after another relationship, and they don't like being by themselves. And you try to give that person advice to really, take time and do a self examination, because all the relationships you going in and out of is not working. What advice will you could give them to really, you know, um, do self examination on this self, instead of looking at a mate or another relationship or a husband or a wife?
I would say to them, time heals all wounds. Ultimately, if you're not finding the right person out here, just consider being alone. Because ultimately, I, I've told my wife this: if we ever get divorced, I will have people that I might talk to as friends, but when it come down to it, I like my peace and sanity. If I can't find anyone to kind of be with that can make me feel like I enjoy
Your
to be
phone is
around
tripping.
you, or if I like your company, I'll just be to myself, because I don't want to force a relationship on someone, and I don't want to force myself into a relationship, because ultimately all I'm doing is thinking with my heart, whereas the other person, they could be thinking with something else. They could be thinking about my money. They could be thinking of how good of a person I am, but they only want, the things that I have to give them. So why would
Mm.
I put myself through pain and struggle and misery of dealing with a person for far more years to greater, to figure out they only here for monetary gain, what they can get out of the relationship. And once I get to
Yeah.
even the older, even more of an older state of mind, that they just only leave me because they was there for the money. Say if I have a medical injury that happens to me or something like that, or I get a leg chopped off to the point where I can't, work anymore. That person, they could just go ahead and leave, and I'll stay there by myself, and that'll cause me more pain. So I would try to find a peace and happiness within myself first. And if I don't find that with somebody else as well, I just have to come to realization of being by myself, because ultimately, like I told my wife, the way things are and the way these people are moving now, like we were saying, a lot of people don't want families. A lot of people don't want relationships. More people I'm starting to see nowadays, even with the older generation, it's all self-motivated. It's what they want or what they can get out of a relationship.
Yes, 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 Lord, yes. He said it all,
Good
Sheila.
morning,
He said
David.
it all.
Okay, Trish, now your point of view.
He said it all. Time
Thank
healed
you
all
for joining
wounds,
us.
and whatever he said, all that stuff was good. He said it all. Yep, he said it all
And
already.
I just want to say, I just want to thank y'all for just coming on, spending the morning with me. Uh, how a woman should raise her standards. And anything else y'all want to say before I end this live? Because I think this need to be
I say,
addressed
as a
with
woman,
Generation X. Go ahead.
I just say, as a woman, we should just wait on God to send us somebody wonderful. Don't go out there picking and choosing people that's not for you, because that's what usually we do. Just wait and keep your standards up as a woman. Um, have morals about yourself. That's all I can put to that today.
Thank you, sis. Bring it home, she. On a male point of view.
Can,
Something's
can
been.
you can you repeat that again? I'm sorry. I just pulled in at work.
No, I just said, just what advice you would give, to, Generation X, dating and or anything. Just take anywhere on our this your last words we leaving. So
Okay.
what advice will you give to, our Generation X?
Well, basically, I give this to just everybody. You know, find someone that love you for you. Find someone that wants to be with you, and you both are establishing relationships with each other in the premise of of long longevity. Don't consider being with someone that you know just well, let's see how it goes 5 or 10 years. No. I always tell people marriage is a lifetime. I told my wife when I married her, I don't plan on getting divorced, but things do happen. But the
Yes, it
point of it
does.
is you go into relationship with high hopes. No one
Mm,
needs to be going into a relationship saying that, I'm gonna marry this girl for 5 years or 10 years and see how it takes it. Ultimately, you're already coming into the relationship with false hope and false belief that it is not going to work. So why even go that far? Even with the older generation, to the extent, like I said, if you can't find someone that that you're looking for that you love, maybe you just need to stay single because you're going to force yourself into the most worst person that probably walking the face of this earth only to feel a void. And that void that you're feeling
right.
it's gonna be it's gonna be in your case for the right way, but with them, it's gonna be for the wrong intentions. So you have to take
Absolutely.
upon yourself to understand every time you deal with someone, you pretty much giving your soul to them. And ultimately,
Agreed.
you got to have that mindset that when you give someone your soul, you know, how, how are they gonna be trustworthy with it?
Mm.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Thank you,
Yeah.
DOD. Good morning, and thank you for watching us. And it's always a pleasure for you showing me support. And I had to try to touch on this topic because this not being said around here. So, and
Right.
good morning, BMT.
Yeah.
Thank you, and I appreciate y'all stopping by. Um, Anything else you want to put in?
No,
Anything else you want to
I'm
say?
done
Nope,
if
Or
you
Chris?
are.
that's it. I'm done too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to thank y'all again for y'all input, y'all point of views, and it was excellent. And like I said, we know it's not easy, you know, in this time of day, you know, dating back in our days it was totally different. A lot of rules and regulation had changed. A lot of mindset had changed. So my advice would be, you know, communication, always communication. Talk with the person, you know, which I want. Um, and I feel like this: if you don't have that chemistry with that person, it's not about money. Cause money can't buy love. You know, it's
Mhm.
about y'all being there for each other. You know, and a man is not a come up. A woman's not a come up. It's about being there for each other and loving each other through
Yeah.
richer and poor, through sicker and health. You know, hard times and good times. And that's what it's all about. Because if something happened to one of y'all, and you still gonna be there to take care of them. If they can't perform sexual or they can't perform physically or mentally, if something happened to them, is you still gonna be there for them. Because that's what you call love, you know? And this generation sometimes is not getting it. It's all what I could get. Take, you know?
Yeah, because even in these spaces, a lot of guys say one thing but want another. You know, because they're in the echo chamber, so they have to appeal
Good
to
morning,
what all the
China.
guys are saying.
Hmm.
And ultimately, I always do to say this on a lot of spaces that a lot of women are selfish because when it comes to certain issues, not all, but when it comes to certain issues, they want what they want. You know, and Roger makes a good point about a lot of women get married before 30 because they always consider themselves having time. You know,
Hmm.
and to me, that's the one thing that you can't get back is the time.
That's
So no
true.
matter
Absolutely.
what you're doing, you can't get that time back. And a lot of these women are starting to see nowadays that that are not moving like a woman and wanting to be a woman, they're losing out because to find some that special someone, that's a beautiful thing. And I always talk about marriage. I always my channel, I'm dealing with marriage. I'm talking about
Hmm.
relationship between man and woman because ultimately that's what a
Your
lot of the
phone break.
youth need
Your
to
phone
see.
breaking up.
Good
Can you hear me?
morning,
Can you hear
BMT
me
on the
now?
panel. I can hear you.
It's breaking up
Okay.
still.
But a lot of people need to see that type of, mentality of love and dealing with relationship because this generation, they're not seeing it as much. So it, it's like a fairy tale to them, even with going this whole routes of going out of our culture, dating out the culture, you know, I always tell men, I go where I'm happy. If a woman treats me right, that's what I'm dealing with. Ultimately,
Hey,
it's not my it's not my first choice to, move around in different areas because this is the area I'm in. These are the people I'm dealing with. You know,
Yeah.
if I didn't love my people, I would leave away from my people. But because I love
amen.
my people, I promote that, we all need to find that special someone, you know. And I hear guys always complaining about the women outside the culture, even their mothers in certain instances and things. And I'm like, the things that we hear in these spaces about these older guys and even the older women preaching, and it's nonsense. I'm like, no wonder a lot of the generational guys are so messed up because they're getting bad information from the worst people that don't want to see people, win.
Right,
Right.
right.
And good morning,
So true.
China White, beautiful sis. BMT, anything you want to say?
Yeah. Hey, what's going on? No, I told I poke in and I watch some people on the clouds and I'm saying I definitely I've been watching you for a good while. Um, you know, and
Thank you.
and yeah, I gotta check up on you. And I definitely I look at the this geographical talking point of a lot of these men and women, especially in this space, this little community. And I always look at, people saying, well, that woman was average. I said, well, brother, what are you then? What are you? Like, how do you gauge somebody? You never sat across the table from that person and talked to them. Well, look at them. Well, then what are you? So, and then I'll talk to the sister. Well, look at him. Look what he do. I said, how do you know what he's capable of? He ain't your man. You don't know what a man is capable of because you're not his woman.
Wow.
So you can't. You see, the different people unlock or bring in different stuff depending on what that person can connect with them. If I have the right woman, then I can move the world. I can do all kinds of stuff. I can build a whole nation, a whole village. And if the woman got the right man, she'll walk in front of death and do all kind of stuff, bear his children, cook, clean, go to school, bring forth funds and all kind of stuff and push his dreams. There's a lot of stuff that different people can unlock. But see, the problem is that a lot of these people don't know how to do that. And
Agreed.
so they can only imagine and
Wow.
have make believe of a TV sitcom of the Winslows or the Bel Airs or all kind of these little sitcoms rather than the reality of what it is or what it takes. you know, and they'll tell
Right.
you about Big Mama, but you don't know what Big Mama did behind closed doors, or how many times she was on her knees while y'all were sleeping, trying to budget the bills, or how many times Daddy sat in his car trying to get that alternator to work. So see, everybody always talks about what they think they know, but they ain't actually the ones in the forefront in the trenches. And I always and now when I go sit in front of my parents now, when I talk to them on the phone, I say, I think I get it. I don't know how you did it, but I get it what you did. You know, I get it. They say now it's your turn. And so, but you got to have that right. You got to. It's right. You do have a connection. This is why I always talk about. I say, how you have a high value talk is if you don't know the value of where you stand. You know, and I don't try to get all this spiritual. I'm not trying to do all the stuff
No,
because
go ahead. No,
no,
keep it
no,
real.
but,
Keep it real.
but see, that's the thing about it. People always say they're keeping it real, but I'm like, how do you know when you're not there yet? You know, it's like I'm gonna show y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all a little thing. You know, Peter told Jesus, I'm gonna be by your side no matter what, Master. He said, Peter, don't say that. Don't say that. He said, because when the time comes, you're gonna deny me 3 times. And Peter said, I got your back, Jesus. But then when it came time when Jesus got captured, what happened? What did Peter do? Every time. Hey, ain't you with that man Jesus? Oh no, oh, I don't know him. No, you got him. So 3 times he denied him. And Jesus looked over at him and he had to run. Because he knew when the time came to stand on what he said, it was hard to actually commit to that. And see, that's something that we see and that a lot of people talk about. I want that relationship. I want that woman. I want that man. But then when it comes time to stand on those actions, whoa, this is a different thing. This ain't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was, I just wanted her to submit. I didn't know I had to provide forth a kingdom for my woman to actually want to submit in or actually be in. Well, I wanted a good man, but I didn't know I also had to build him up and encourage him and lay my hands on him and speak life into him. See, there's a lot of work that goes on behind that you got to put into renovating a relationship. Everybody thinks, well, once I get the ring on, we made it. And a lot of us can tell you that you think you made it because you got that ring on, but you didn't make it, baby. Heck, try 1 year, try 2 years. You think you know the person, but a lot of things start switching up and changing as time goes on. That's why I always start looking at these people very interested. I look at the talking points. Well, what are we gonna do about these black women? Well, I can't control these black women. I deal with the women that I have in my house. I deal with the children in my house. Well, what about these black men? Well, my old lady will tell you, well, I got 1 man to deal with. And I got 2 men growing up. So that's you deal with each person accordingly. You can't that's not my job to get your soul right. My mom said my son grown. He grown. He gonna have to make decisions for himself. And that's the thing about it. It's the accountability that people have to understand when it comes to a relationship. Do they actually understand the contract? Don't go off of the generic brand that the world puts before you, but the world will have you doing all kind of stuff. That's why I understand people when they have these talking points. Be careful of the minister on the pulpit. He'll say what you want to hear, but is it what you need to hear? See, that's why a lot of people don't like that old Baptist preacher,
Yeah.
Sheila. They don't like him.
Yes.
He ain't gonna tell you what you need to hear.
You're
He
gonna
gonna
tell
tell
you the
you,
truth.
yeah. It's half the time they be ready to run him out the church. See, I know he's like, oh, I gotta run some stuff out. And see, that's the problem that we're seeing right now. Especially, I'm pretty sure since this pandemic, a lot of people in the talking points are, I don't need this, or I don't need that, or I don't need him, or I don't need her, seen a lot differently now. So they're like, whoa, maybe this is not what we actually signed up for. I'm
Right.
not. I don't ever talk about having to leave, go to another country to go find a woman because you are my woman. You are my woman. Why would I need to go somewhere else? I was put here in this area at this time in this moment. So you are my woman. Just like a woman saying she's gonna divest. Where you gonna go? How far are you gonna divest without your man? Where can you go without your man? At the end of the day, you still joined to the hip to me. You know, I mean, this shaming thing, I don't understand. You gotta understand that's a spirit. I'm gonna tell you
It
right now,
is.
that's a
It is.
spirit.
It
That
is.
that is that's a spirit.
Yeah.
I can't even show. I don't even show majority of these channels to the people I care about or love. Because when they look at it, they say, "Why are y'all talking about that? Why y'all talking?" Remember when we had that talk on Brother X's panel? But we saw that there are certain people that wanted us to attack each other. They wanted me
Right.
and you and different men and women to
Right.
attack each other on
They
the panel.
did.
And we were like, no, we're not going to do that. But why would kind of spirit would want men and women that are talking in a cordial manner to just attack and attack each other? That's how y'all know we ain't dealing with something natural here. There's something
Cause that's the
unnatural
spirit.
going
That's the devil. Where he come? He come to kill, steal, and destroy. See, he the father of confusion. You know.
on. No,
And
I
see, when we
agree.
have peace, see that one thing I said, we could agree and disagree. But one thing I say about my brothers, I advocate for my brothers, and I want my brothers to be the leaders they are. Y'all be beat down so much, and I love it when y'all have y'all point of view. Excuse me. Good morning, black men being beautiful, honest, and I love y'all have y'all point of views here on YouTube because y'all been silent so many years. What's wrong with y'all having y'all point of views, y'all standards? And what you want, that's what you want. What's wrong with that? Y'all been taking care of us all the years. We pushed y'all around. Y'all haven't said nothing because y'all the man. Let us women do what y'all want to do. Now y'all have a voice, and we supposed to push back, and we supposed to downgrade y'all. No, no.
You know, I always. I think as this time goes on, you know, I don't say too much on where these men and women, but the road to hell is gonna be paved in gold.
It is. It is.
It's gonna
And
be
I'm
paved in
talking
gold.
about the respect for brothers BMT. I'm talking about like we having a conversation. I'm not the brothers talking, calling us bees and just like that,
No,
you
no,
know,
no, no,
at a
no.
respectful. I'm saying
No, that
it's
that
my
is
brother, like
respectful.
we sitting here talking. And
No,
there's
no, that
nothing
see,
wrong with
that is
that.
that
Go
is
ahead.
respectful. That is, and
Hmm.
this is see the thing about it. Sheila, you don't have to. You don't. I don't want you to ever shiver up. But this is how a man and a woman do talk. This is how I talk to men and women. Even this is why I don't jump up on every just on any old panel. Not anymore. No, no, I don't share my energy with anybody anymore. No, I gotta conserve it now.
Yes.
I gotta conserve it. Like when it comes to politics, I'm there. When it comes to talking about stuff that we as a group need, and y'all know I don't always be shaking that pro stick, but I understand what we need. And y'all, and listen, that man sitting in office, he ain't looking at y'all. He is not looking at any of us. Like
That's right.
it's gonna get real 2021. Y'all
I
gonna
already
see,
know.
boy.
I already
That
know.
that
It's
that
getting real
that
now.
don't for a lot of people that work with state and government. Oh, we already understand the play. Trust me, they're already doing the cuts. A lot of y'all gonna probably be seeing y'all hours get cut up. A lot of y'all sorry are gonna probably be without a job. And you see, this has to happen.
Yes. And see, I'm retired and I'm just saying different things like I was telling my family. It's getting to the point we're gonna have to go back to our land
Mm-hmm.
down south and start growing our own vegetables. And that's what I'm gonna do, you know, because time's gonna get hard. We know how to bake bread, we know how to do different things. A lot of people don't know how to do that. Thank God for YouTube, because then you get some things off of YouTube, learn how to cook or whatever. But you
Yep.
know what? Thank God my grandmother and my mother taught us how to do those things.
Yep. I surely enough had I think we had it where one of the girls she couldn't afford Gerber or her baby food. So, my old lady said my old lady opened up took some of a can of the peas and the carrots, and she started mashing it up. She said, I can't get it to my baby. She said, what are you talking about? Give it to your baby. Just feed it to it slowly. She said, my baby can't eat that. Yes, your baby can. I did it with my child. I said, well, you think we all
Wow.
had Gerber? You think we all had the good stuff? Some of y'all, some people won't have to go in yet. Some of y'all are going to learn. And you see, a hard head make a soft behind.
It
And
do.
and sometimes you gotta let them feel. See that you gotta let them feel. Just like every prophet thought that, hey, why do I gotta listen to you, God? Just like Jonah, you gotta let some of
Go
these people
ahead.
just
Go
feel.
ahead.
Let them feel. When they finally understand that, yo, you can't do nothing without me, then they'll come right on back. They're gonna see. They're gonna see that everybody else is going back home to their roots.
That's what it's about. Going back to the basic.
Mm-hmm.
It's going back to the basic. And we've been so spoiled and so stubborn that everything we take stuff for granted. We have. We got so many clothes and shoes and stuff. We still with price tags and different stuff, you know. House so big that we don't need all that or whatever, you know. Just go back to the basics. That's all, you know. Appreciate what you have and bless other people, you know.
Facts. Like I said, I just hope the best for a lot of y'all. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I see some of y'all are starting up channels. I hope we are able to pass on good information.
Yeah.
I see
And
your
that's why I
channel.
want to do BMT. I want my channel to reflect me because I'm positive, you know, and I'm
Right
not
here.
into that drama or whatever. I'm a loner. Um, I'm into politics. That's what I do. I advocate in my community and stuff. So, you know, I just want my page reflect my life. You know.
Hey, just walk like that, and just you know what I'm saying. Just keep that path. I can
Hmm.
promise you, just keep that path. Especially with the way how a lot of these spaces and a lot of the world is changing.
I know.
They're gonna be that one day. Sheila's not gonna turn on that. Like my mom, she does she said being Joe, I want you to start up help me start up a YouTube channel. I said, why? She said, because one day there's gonna be a time where y'all ain't gonna be able to come into the church and hear
That's
me.
right.
You're not gonna be able to hear your mama talk. I
Hmm.
said, Mom, stop. Oh, please. And I said, no, watch. Y'all gonna have that one day. I'm getting old. And you ain't gonna be able to talk to me. You ain't gonna be able to come to the church. You ain't gonna be do that. But you'll have these videos.
Hmm.
And you can
And the
go ahead and
conference call line too. That's what we do. Because I have Church Without Walls conference call. Hmm.
and sure, you know what? Sure enough, you know what they did? The state troopers came by, and they chained up my mama's church. They chained up her church, but they said too many people were in this church. So
Wow.
y'all better understand. And I know some people are like, well, that wasn't on the news. You think they put everything on the news that they do these days? No, they
Nope.
sure enough don't. But there's gonna be a time where the access you used to have to certain people or certain groups, they're gonna be gone. They're gonna be gone. I've already did that. I buried me some guns and I buried me a Bible
Hmm.
and some other stuff. So when the time
See.
comes, hey, I made my peace. I made my
I know
peace.
that's right. Prepare
So,
yourself.
so y'all, you know what I'm saying? So I have nothing but love for you. I do hope
Thank you. And I
I do
appreciate it.
hope that we get to sit down and actually have some talks. Maybe you could probably bring some peace to my channels. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like I said, we definitely are moving in different directions. We're talking with different people, politics. We're talking about relationships, and maybe we definitely need to have that sound thing. I remember you said, Joe, you said BMT. I don't want to do drama. I just want to talk about some stuff. I said, man, she's
Right.
serious about this.
Yes. You see my couple of things I've been doing.
I
I'm
know.
telling you, I'm not playing. You know.
Well, we need that because right now, you seeing, and I'm seeing a lot of people saying that, yo, there's something going on,
It
and
is.
there's something going, ain't ain't that much hate in the world going on, and it amazes me that why the hatred for each other.
It's a spiritual battle because remember we fight against not flesh and blood, but principality in high places. And you got to realize, see, when a person attack you, it's not you. It's the spirit that's in you. You know.
Right.
And
Yep.
see, one thing about darkness, darkness don't like light.
Mm,
Yeah.
I
But see, I'm
agree.
very good when it comes to the spiritual realm. That's one of my gifts. Yeah. So
Because
that's why I don't be around drama. You notice I don't be around a lot of drama, stuff like that. I can't put that stuff in my spirit. It's toxic.
like I
Mhm.
said, we definitely need that.
We do.
I had the pleasure of
Thank you.
getting to see two YouTubers get married. They got married.
That's a
Um,
blessing.
and he was like, I want to tell more people, but I don't want them to. I said, don't ever be ashamed of getting married. And he was like, you serious, BNT? You want me to get married? I said, yes, ma'am. I said, why should you not be allowed to go home to happiness?
That's right.
Wow, he was like, but I said, listen, there ain't nothing out there in the streets. There's nothing out there in the street. And I tell that to a lot of young men and a lot of women. They will tell you to go out there in the streets,
That's right.
but there ain't nothing out there. We're
That's
just
right.
death.
Good
You know,
morning, family third. Thank you for coming. That's
we're
all
going.
this destruction. Like I said, the street love no one.
Oh yes,
The street love no one. It suck you in and it kill you. Two places you're gonna be, in prison or in the graveyard.
great. Yep, that's a fact. I tried. That's a fact that I try to tell this one man. Um, she told her husband or her fiance, come with me to the south. He said, no, baby. He said, I got this break. She said, well, just leave, and let's go down south. You know, they both were subscribed to my channel. You know, leave and let's just go down there. You know, we can go find a job, and you know, what I'm saying, you know, my daddy got some land, and we can go get a trailer and put it on there. You know, we can just leave. So he said, I'm gonna stay up here for a while longer. So he stayed up there. He stayed up there in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Next month later, he died.
See? And that's what I'm saying. This is really serious. Even, we have so many channels to give us information here on YouTube, and people not even taking advantage of it. They're so caught up in a drama that, I mean, either third of them, the beautiful channel, either your channel, either Faith channel, um, Trisha channel, Roger, BGS, different ones who have so much wisdom and knowledge and understanding, Mr. Research, information man. People do not take advantage of those channels. You know, they don't. They don't, and it's very sad. You
Right.
know.
Yeah, man. Them children could have used their daddy. They could have. You know what I'm saying? But I talked to them. I said, hey, if you need a job, listen, man, they can put you on. You know what I'm saying? They got some openings at Boeing Security. I ain't got no experience. I said, man, I ain't worried about no experience. I said, listen, I know somebody there. They can get you in. You know what I'm saying? But you can't run.
I don't know what happened, but that's what it's all about. Just each one teach one, helping one another, connecting whatever way we can here on the YouTube streets, and they're about positivity. But I'm gonna wait for you to come back up. If not, then I'm just gonna leave. And I appreciate every you there, BNT.
I'm right here.
Okay. And I just appreciate, because I get vibe off of each one. And I'm a sponge. I love to hear people who have a real knowledge and wisdom. And I'm like a sponge. I just suck it up. I don't really say much. I'm just a listener, you know? Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, like I said, you know what? How about I do you a solid? I'm gonna put my email in the back,
Okay.
and you can come through and whatever topic you want to do for that hour, I'll let you run. I'll just let you run it. I won't control it. I won't say nothing. However you want to do, I will back
Oh, I
you up.
see. I like to have, I don't like to be on the piano by myself like that.
No, 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 no. I'm not saying you're gonna be by yourself,
Hmm.
but I'm saying whatever you feel is on
Okay.
your heart. See, I've been
Okay.
doing that lately with certain
Oh
people.
yeah,
I
my
want them. I
spirit.
want them. I want them to get their shine. Like,
Okay.
I had it where I know like a few of the brothers they wanted to be able to talk about politics and reparations and racial
Hmm.
stuff with different other men of other cultures and races. So
Okay.
I grabbed those people and I put them on the same panel. And
Okay.
now they're having political talks. Like now they're having networking meetings and stuff. We've been doing a lot of different stuff. That's why people haven't been seeing me like that.
Oh,
And
it's
so
so funny because I'm having my mayor come on after the
uh
holiday. Yeah.
I'm supposed to be talking with a few. I'm trying to after I finish up with some of the strike.
Hmm.
I'm gonna have it. I'm trying to. I gotta go talk to I know a nurse and a doctor who got the vaccine.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
and I want to bring them on to talk with them. You know what I'm saying? So that way, people we can talk with them. You know what I'm saying? People who actually got the vaccine. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
awesome.
And so that way, I would definitely want to set up where we have a mature discussion with them about this, about
Yes.
what's really going on. That way we can find out, hey, you know what I'm saying? But it's fair to say, yes, we do have a history of things that have happened to us in this culture, in this country. So it's fair to, like I told some people, they said, you know, there's a reason why black people are afraid. Well, why y'all think black people? I said, well, there's history behind it. Tuskegee experiments. We've had the Devil's Punch Bowl. There's a lot of things that hasn't always
Yes.
been good. I mean, the
A lot of people don't even
OBGYN is
know about that.
right. And so when I was talking to them about, it, they're like, what? What's that? What's that? I said, see, you say we're both American, but see, that's my history. Y'all don't know about that. They don't teach that in school.
They don't.
They, they don't. But it's up to somebody like you and me to teach that to not just our people, but other people. Say, hey, this is what happened to us. So I understand why a lot of our black women, for a lot of y'all brothers, this is why a lot of them are afraid to deal with when it comes to that health care, especially for like, well, get on birth control. Well, y'all know the
Mhm.
history of what happened to a lot of black women that dealt with
Yes.
birth control.
Yes.
A lot of women
A
die on
lot
that
of couldn't even
table.
have, yeah, couldn't even have kids and
Hmm.
die behind the birth control too.
Yep. Yep. A lot, and they
Sentenced
get
to death. Yes.
they get sloppy with that. Whereas to a lot of our women, this is why I go. This is why I don't have no problem going down there with my old lady to the OBGYN. I sit in there. And
Mm.
people think, you do all that. I say, yeah, listen, I read up on that. They sometimes they don't do well and they get an ovarian cyst. They get in pain and all that stuff, and they can't have children, or they have still these things add up to a ovarian for a lot of our boys. I tell a lot of y'all black men, don't make no excuse. I don't care if you got to work. Take some time off. Go by
Yes.
that school and check on your boys. Check on your girls because listen, they'll be quick to either put your kids on drugs and medicine, all that stuff. When all you have to do is just be a presence in that school.
That's why I said they put them on special education, because they can't diagnose them into because I'm a retired case manager for mental health, so they can't diagnose them until they're 18. They could treat the symptoms and behavior, but they put them on medication and and put them in special education. I'm like, come on, you know what? Y'all had to really because I ran for board education too. Y'all really had to get involved in your kids' life when it comes to their education, you
Yep,
know?
yep. And that's something that I tell people to listen, go there. Oh, the kids don't got no respect. I said, I'm telling y'all, if you go there and you're a presence, especially y'all men, you don't even
Yes.
have to be. You don't even have to be a parent. You just have to be a presence. You don't have to be a parent. You just have to be a presence. Kids love to see a grown black man, especially in our school. They love
Yeah.
seeing you there. Why? Because they feel like, oh wow, there's Mr. Third is here, Mr. Sheed is here. I'm not. Y'all don't believe me? Go try it out. Just go there and sit with the kids, talk with them. Go out, offer to be a help or aid. Well, those ain't my kids. You know, well, guess what? They're gonna be. You're gonna have to deal with them sometime in society. So why
Yes.
not deal with them now and be that seed? But I understand y'all have the enemy telling y'all, well, that's some simp stuff. That's some sucker stuff. But hold up now. We having a problem with why don't the women honor or respect the men? But there's
Yeah.
not a man presence there. Well, why don't the women choose good men? They haven't seen the presence of a good man. But if you are that person that instilled that seed in them, like I've been doing with my girls, like I've been doing with my sons, and I call
And
them
I
my
see that on, I
little.
love that. That's beautiful what you do. You have like your own little reality show. And I thank you for that. That is so powerful
We
because you
got
setting the standard for other males. You have like your own reality show with your family, and that is so cute. It is. I like that.
say good morning, Miss Sheila.
Good morning, babies.
Like I said,
Oh,
we do a lot of stuff. We do a lot of stuff. I have some of the kids come over. I'm teaching them how to shoot and how to do and we teach them how to cook and do all different stuff. But one day we're gonna need all them skills and stuff. So, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and let you ride, Miss Sheila.
and I assure him I'm gonna get in contact with you. And yeah, because I love your spirit and I love you take care of your family, and that's a blessing. And if nobody else don't tell you, hey, like I said, I'm proud of you, brother. And you set an
Thank you.
example. You love your community, you love your family, you set an example for your babies and your wife, and I love it. And you take care of your household, and you set an example here on the YouTube streets. So while they be talking, God be blessing you and your family. And I wish nothing but the best for y'all, and y'all be in my prayers. And thank everybody for coming in. You know what? And that's what it's all about, us. Iron sharper iron, us lifting one another up. And y'all have a blessed day.
You too. You have a blessed day.
Okay. Okay. Bye bye.